Hi my lovely people, welcome back to another fabulous beauty video. In this video, I'm going to review for you the brand new Chanel Tweed Eyeshadow collection, or Les Ombres Tweed collection. So there are 4 eyeshadow quads in this collection. It is the Tweed collection. There's a tweed print embossed onto the eyeshadows. It's made to look like tweed. It's actually very much like tweed, and even the little protective covers are made out of tweed. I will get into all that very soon. So I have all 4, the entire tweed collection to review for you guys. If you want to hear my thoughts on this hot new, brand new release from Chanel, just keep on watching. So you guys, as I said, I have all 4 of them right here. All 4 tweed, Les Ombres Tweed eyeshadow palettes, the quads right here with me. What I'm going to do is I am going to do cutaways to me applying each of these eyeshadow palettes as I talk about them to you, giving you my thoughts, and then you can see the application as well in the cutaways that I do. So the first out of the 4 palettes is the 01 Tweed Pkwy. Now this one is the one that, well, spoiler alert, I like the most. Okay, so I will do a cutaway to the application as I talk about this to you guys. So let me show you this beautiful tweed protective cover right here. This is actually tweed, made out of Chanel tweed. Very much a tweed cover, which I thought was a really nice touch. So here's the palette as any other eyeshadow quads of Chanel, and there is the name on the back. This is the 01 or number 1 palette of the bunch. So I actually did photos, an unboxing and photos, close-ups of these palettes before I even touched them on Instagram. Check that out. If you don't follow me on Instagram, please make sure to follow me so you can see stuff like this before I even talk about them here on YouTube. And so here is the palette. I will put hopefully a little clip of this, what it looked like before I touched it. So it looks very much like tweed, you guys. Do you see that beautiful tweed embossed print right there? Isn't that beautiful? I actually really love this nice touch of, you know, like the tweed embossing. So I have to talk about this palette. So this is my favorite, like I said just a few minutes ago. So these like sort of satin, shiny, shimmer shadows, they all are. None of them are actually matte. There's a slight sheen to 3 of the shades. And then this one right here, this beautiful, gorgeous gold shade, is a gorgeous, sparkly gold that has quite a bit of specks of almost glitter-looking specks. That's very high shine. Actually, when you put it on the eyes, I was quite surprised because it doesn't look like much here in the palette. But when you actually swatch it, you know, to actually put it on the eyes, you can see. You can probably see here on the swatch as well. It's actually quite lovely. Let me do a bit of a swatch here for you guys to see. So here it is, swatched on the back of my hand. So there's one shadow here. They're all very beautiful and lovely, and it's got a slight sheen to those sort of satin 3 shades, and then that beautiful high shine gold has beautiful specks of glitter. There is a tiny tad of fallout, but it's nothing to be scared of. It doesn't really fall down here and look really terrible or anything. So this is my absolute favorite from the collection, and all of these shades are very soft, soft is the word, very soft, and they go on very easily. Just very soft formula. I wouldn't call it creamy. I wouldn't call it in any other thing other than to say that they're very soft shadows that blend very well. So yeah, this is my absolute favorite palette. I think it looks absolutely stunning. So that one is Tweed Cleo, which is my favorite out of all four of them. I know maybe other people have other favorites, but this really is my favorite. So next palette is number 2. This is Tweed Pkwy. So this one is, you know, let me show you the actual tweed case, the protective cover here. It's beautiful. There again, you get a nice tweed protective cover here. Let me open the palette. So this one has some sort of a mauve, taupe, purple kind of color story. This one isn't my favorite at all. This is actually my least favorite in the collection. This one is kind of lackluster in my opinion, but the shadows still are very much soft, I would say, and a little bit like silky. Yeah, that's there, but I feel like it's a little bit lackluster only because it doesn't really show up on my face very well, especially given that I am of a darker skin tone. So this is what it looks like swatched, as you can probably see, you know, the lackluster. Yeah, there's a, you know, a nice soft sheen to it, but these are, by the way, these are not the shimmery ones like the first palette. This is actually, it appears to me as these are mostly, all of them, actually all four of them are like a satin matte. That's what I'm gonna call these. None of them are like shimmer. As you can see, they're a satin matte, and there is no shimmer shade in here. They're all for the same formula. Soft and, yeah, silky, very soft, very finely milled. It blended, but it kind of blends away into my skin tone, mainly probably because these are very kind of muted mauve, taupe, purple shades. Even if it didn't have shimmer, let's say it was all matte shadows, then I would expect it to be kind of like the Tom Ford Mink Mirage or Cocoa Mirage, you know what I mean? A very like finely milled and silky, high color payoff, you know, and very easily blended. And this wasn't difficult to blend, don't get me wrong, but it wasn't, just the formula wasn't the best in my opinion. It's not my favorite, so it's my actually least favorite in the collection. So we move on to palette number 3, the quad number 3. This one is Tweed Fauve. Now this one is not bad. It's good. I like this one, but it's not as good as palette number 1 that I talked to you about. So it's got this beautiful sort of orange tan kind of tweed casing, very pretty. So here is what it looks like inside. I actually did like this because it actually has a lot of color payoff. It really shows up and it looks really good. So here is a close-up of it. I love that tweed embossing, you guys. So let me do a little bit of like swatch for you guys. So like I said, this one is actually really good color payoff. These shadows are so soft, feel like silk to the touch. So here it is. Now this one does have, I would say, 3 matte satin mattes. So this one, this one, this one. There are 3 satin mattes, and this middle one right here, that is a shimmer shade. But however, it is not a high shine shimmer, glittery, sparkly shimmer like the first palette number 1 was. So this one does have a shimmer shade. However, it's not a brilliant glittery shimmer shade like it is with the first palette. This one blended really well, and it showed up really nicely. but it wasn't like a shimmery eye look, but it was rather very warm, you know, nice warm eyeshadow look, as you will see in my cutaway here. Yeah, I would say this one is my second favorite from the collection. So we move on to the last palette number 4, the quad number 4. This is Tweed Brunette Rose. You guys, this one is, it says Brunette Rose, but I don't see anything rose about it. That's the one I'm wearing on my eyes in this video. So here is the tweed sleeve here. This one is a black brown kind of gray sleeve, and here it is the palette, and let me show you. This is what it looks like inside. This palette is also really nice. I like this one. Actually, I think this is my second favorite, and that number 3 is my third favorite. So this also has a lovely shimmer shade in here. Let me swatch these for you first. So I do love the brilliant sort of rosy, kind of very, very light, pinky, kind of, what's the color? Champagne, almost like pink and champagne mixed color. This is quite a brilliant, kind of almost like that first palette, almost glittery, sparkly one, but not quite. And these 3 are definitely that satin matte I talked about earlier. So let me show you some swatches here. These muted ones here, the muted matte shadows don't show up like these. Do you see these top 2? Not so much showing up on my skin tone, as you can see. So these 2 show up. So this is not really a palette for anybody darker than me. It does show up on me. I mean, you see that it does. I would say anybody darker than me, even the slightest, this would not work. I think this is for people my complexion and fairer. That's like the only problem with this one. But I do like this. This is my number 2 favorite, even though there are 2 shadows that are not like super, you know, pigmented on my skin. I like this because of that brilliant, beautiful shimmer shade is there, and you can actually create really lovely looks with it. So yeah, this is my second favorite. Number 1 is my favorite. Number 4 is my second favorite. And then number 3 is my third favorite, and then number 2 is my least favorite. So that's how I rate them. So for my overall thoughts, you guys, are these palettes worth the price? Now they're $88 each. That's very expensive. They are like a couple of bucks cheaper than Tom Ford eyeshadow quads, but in my opinion, the Tom Ford formula is a little bit more superior to this particular formula. I'm not talking about the entire different Chanel eyeshadow quads. My personal opinion, having used or having purchased so many Tom Ford eyeshadow quads, is that formula is superior to these. But are these bad? Absolutely not. They're gorgeous. They're very soft, very silky to the touch, and they blend well. You know, the only one I didn't like was that number 2 palette. With the exception of that, the other 3 I think created amazing looks. Overall, they're beautiful. I love that tweed embossing. I love the tweed sleeves, which by the way, I keep all the sleeves of my luxury makeup items. I always keep all the sleeves. I keep them in the sleeve. So it's really lovely to have that. Other than that, and now if you're really a big fan of having that tweed embossing, which by the way will disappear over time as you use the quad, the embossing is going to go away. It's not going to stay there forever. After about 5-6 uses, the embossing will completely be gone. Keep that in mind. But if you love the fact that Tweed is very significant to Chanel, very historical. Tweed was something, you know, that vintage Chanel, especially, that Chanel made a lot of gorgeous, you know, couture with, beautiful Chanel, you know, garments with. So that historical significance is there in this whole, you know, concept. So if you're a fan of that and you're a collector and you want to own all 4 of them, I would say go for it. But other than that, if you're just somebody who wants a good eyeshadow quad that works every time, I would say not all 4 of them are worth buying. I highly recommend the palette number 1. And then palette number, was it 4? I love that one too. The other 2, not so much. Actually, the palette number 3 is also nice. It's just that palette number 2 is what I don't like. So maybe you can pick your favorite 1 or 2 and buy them so that you have something from the Tweed collection. But other than that, I don't think it's worth having all 4 of them if you're not a makeup collector who wants to have the Tweed collection, the entire collection, which is why I bought them. So yeah, I'm happy with them overall. I think they're beautiful. They're very classy. They're the kind of eyeshadows that you can wear to the office, to formal occasions, or to go out, you know. So that's the thing about it. It's not too flashy, and at the same time it's beautiful on the eyes. So let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. Did you happen to grab any of these? I know they sold out like that. I had a connection. My SA at Nordstrom hooked me up and sent them to me right away. She's reserved them for me. So you kind of have to do that. I know they just sold out pretty quickly everywhere. Take a minute to subscribe to my channel, you guys. If you haven't already, ring the notification bell next to it so you will not miss any of my videos. Otherwise you will. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram so you can see everything I am about to do, buy, you know, any news updates on Instagram before you even see that on YouTube. I will see you guys in my next video.